Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am Omire Chiamaka Favor, and I have here with me our honorable guest in person, Mr. Salaudeen. Woo! Okay, sir. Thanks so much for this great privilege. We are so honored to have you with us for this interview. Okay, sir, I would like to meet you. Can you please briefly introduce yourself and the skill you teach with its real-world applications?
Like you rightly said, I'm Taufik Salaudeen, trainer of smart vegetable farming business. Like the name implies, smart vegetable farming business. Vegetables, virtually everybody eats vegetables. When we talk about it being a business, then it means how you do it to make money. So
okay, thanks so much, sir. Our next question: why do you believe this skill is important for undergraduate students to learn?
The importance of the skill cannot be overemphasized. We all eat and we all want to make money. The easiest way in my mind to make money is to giving people what they will eat. So, and farming, without farming, you cannot produce what we eat. In naming the course, we say smart vegetable farming. So it means it's not doing it the usual way. If you look around, we are in the farm. The students are not around now, but you can see this farming setup is not the usual type. So that's why you can see each plant is getting its water, and they don't just get water that way, they even get nutrients that way. So what do you achieve by doing that? You economize water by up to 80%. And you don't waste your fertilizer. What do you achieve by doing that? You don't spend, you reduce your costs on water and even fertilizer, then even weeding. That is just to name a few of the benefits of having your farm set up this way.
Okay. Thanks so much, sir. Next question: what are the basic requirements needed to start learning this skill?
Number one thing is will. The way to be successful in what you do. Because if you don't have the will, I must let you know that farming is not for faint-hearted people, because it is something that you must attend to. You must pay attention. You can see my people there, they are applying insecticide. We did it twice last week. We're supposed to do it on a weekly basis, but after observing the plant, we saw that we need to double up. So you need to be up and doing. And of course, it is not just farming alone. Any business you are into, you need to pay attention to details. So, and farming is no exception. You talk about prerequisite. I said will, number one. Then knowledge. You need to have the knowledge. You know what the plant needs and when. You need what you want to achieve and how to achieve it. So the knowledge is very important after having the will. The will power is because you need to propel yourself. You need to push yourself that I'm going again. And there will be failure along the line. Your will to succeed will surpass those failures you made along the line. It is better to know 1001 ways of not doing things right. To know just one way of doing it right. Because if that one way fails, you are down for.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, next question. What materials, tools, or software does a beginner need to start?
Number one thing is a land mass. If you have a land size, you should know that this is the number of plants that should be there. So you should be able to know that a plot of land, I should get at least 1,000 stands. By so doing, you must know what the inter and intra spacing. You can see the spacing this way. This way we're having two sets of plants on a ridge. Then there is space between the plants that give way for where to pass. So before you can plant, you need land. It is important. So, and what you want to cultivate will now determine what you need. We are using drip irrigation system. This is the most water efficient means of planting that exists now. The only one you can talk about is hydro or aquaponics. So you need to have your drip, your water source is important. Without water, you can't do anything. So you need your land, your water. Then you need to know what plant you want to cultivate so as to know what space, because there is no general space for all plants. It is the plant that you want to plant that will determine what space, and the space will determine the quantity of what you want to plant.
Okay, so next question. Are these materials expensive or affordable for the average student?
The truth of the matter is, if you want to plant this way, the initial cost is high compared to the conventional means of planting. But you realize that it will pay you at the long run. Because now, I told you, with this drip tape, you are conserving water up to 80%. The other method are you use the furrow. The furrow means that water will flow along this line before it gets to the plant. That means where you don't need water, water will flow to it, and the water that will be enough for this plant, you will need at least times 10 of it for the furrow method.
Wow.
So in fact, you cannot have a tank, a reservoir like we have it here, that you want to cultivate your crops using furrow. It must be river. It must be river, because it is not sustainable using this. But here we are using just 8,000 liters of water to cultivate this daily. But if you are to use the other method, that is furrow. There is basin, there is also rain tube, but there is none that is as an economy as this. Initial setup is higher than all that, I must tell you, but at the long run, this is even easier to manage.
Okay, next question. What common challenges do beginners face while learning this skill?
The challenges. The best time to farm is morning or evening, so you avoid sun. If you are not working under sun, you should find it enjoyable, isn't it? Yes. But of course, sometimes you may have need to work a long period. Like the student that learns this, of course, they are not the one that did the ridges. The ridges were made for them. They didn't do the ridges. In an ideal setting, we do this using tractor. And since we didn't use tractor, we got laborers that did this for them. All they did was installation of the drip irrigation system. No big deal. No big deal.
Okay, sir. Next question. How do you help students overcome these challenges?
Like I told you, the difficult aspect, they are not doing it. So, but there is no way they will learn without doing anything. So I try to make it as lively as possible for them, as enjoyable as possible for them. So they do the installation, they plant, and they are happy seeing their plant grow. Every week they come, because they do the application of the fertilizer. We apply fertilizer. You can see the sweet corn. those are sweet corn. The sweet corn you use in your fried rice. So that's sweet corn and okra. These are okra. Alongside it are watermelon.
Okay, sir. Next question. At what stage can a student start earning money with this skill?
With this, in less than 2 months.
In less than 2 months.
We start harvesting the watermelon after 55 days. The same thing with the okra.
Okay.
Yes. So in less than a month, when you come back here, we'll be harvesting.
Okay. Next question. What are the startup costs involved in monetizing this skill?
Like I said earlier, it depends on the size.
On the size.
There are some materials that you will need. 3 or 4 of you can come together to buy. Like the drip. The minimum length of the drip is 1,500 meters. And that 1,500 meters should be enough for at least 3 plots of land. So if you are 3 and you have 3 plots of land, instead of each one of you buying it, you can just put your money together and buy it. And with 150,000 naira, you get one. We are on about 6 plots of land, if not more, thereabout. So that means this will serve like 8 plots of land, a road. So so you can put your money together and it's about 100,000 naira. 250,000 naira divided by 3. That's what you will need. I mean, 3 students can come together to buy these things. They are not so expensive. They are not up to what you used to buy pizza.
Okay. Next question. Can you break down the cost versus revenue for a beginner setting up their first project?
Thank you. Like, I want to cultivate tomato, for instance. I told you on a plot of land, you get about 1,000 stand. And for you to get with good seed, your seed will determine what you get at the end of the day. So for a good seed, a very reliable seed of tomato that will cultivate a plot of land, which is about 1,000 stand, you will need like 20,000 naira for the seed. And you need a seed tray, about 8 seed trays. A seed tray is about 1,005. So where you are buying 8, so that's about 12,000. 12,000 plus 20, that's 32,000, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So you buy your cocoa pits. Let's say everything that we make for the nursery, you spend about 70,000 or thereabout. And I told you, 3 of you can come together. You spend 250,000 naira.
Yeah.
That's 250. Let's say 300 divided by 3. That's 100 plus 70,000. That's 170. So if you get a rented land, okay, and you get a water source, you rent the reservoir also with a 2,000 liter capacity, you should be able to wet it conveniently. If with the rentage you do that, in 3 months your tomato should be ready. And the least amount you can sell a kg of tomato during glut period is about 500 naira. And on a stand you will get at least 4 kg. 4 times 1,000, 4,000 times 500, that's about 2 million. You cannot spend more than 500,000 naira for that 3 months. So if you spend 1 million naira, you get 1 million extra.
Wow,
that is
mind-blowing.
That is during the downtime. At a time, you can sell tomato 1 kg, and these are premium tomatoes. They are not the ones that you cut and it will be full of water. These ones, they are fleshy. You squeeze it before you get water out of it. The one that you can even snack, You can eat it as if you eat them raw. So they are the premium ones. So you can even sell them as high as 1,500 per kg. So that means you are making even times 3. That's about 6 million. It is possible.
Thanks so much, sir.
Okay.
What opportunities exist for students to freelance using this skill?
There are many opportunities. You can delve into content creation, and not just the farming, but you document what you do and you get your money through it also. And you can even choose to network with farmers and do the marketing. One thing that we make you to succeed in this business is you must have your targeted customers, and that will determine your choice of crop. Not just crop, kind of crop. Our watermelon is not fruiting yet. We have one that is already fruiting. It is the common watermelon that you see, but we have another one that is hybrid. They are far sweeter than the common one. So if you are producing one that is sweeter than the common one, will you sell it like the common one?
No.
So that means, and for you to not to sell it like the common ones, you must look for those that will appreciate it, that values it.
Okay, thanks so much, sir. What mistakes do students often make when trying to monetize the skill?
The mistake is not having adequate knowledge. If you do not have adequate knowledge, you will burn your hands. Having the adequate knowledge and a mentor to fall back to when things does not go as planned. Because if you have a mentor, most likely the mentor would have experience to share with you that will guide you.
What platforms are best for showcasing or selling this skill?
In the school community, we use WhatsApp workers. We have a targeted WhatsApp group that we send to that call the customers to come and buy. To larger audience, we take it to the market, because imagine us harvesting okra from here. We have it so massive, to be so massive that the only thing that makes sense is to take it to the larger market, unless the whole appreciable number of the university community comes to buy. Because if we are to focus on here alone and they are to come here to buy, of course we have a whole lot of market.
Okay, so next question: how long does it take to reach mastery or expert level competence?
Farming, with my own experience, you need at least 4 to 6 seasons. I didn't say 4 to 6 years. 4 to 6 seasons. You harvested. You need to go over it again. You need to go over it again. You need to go over it again. That's 4 seasons. You may have 2 or 3 in the year. Because what you experience during Harmattan is different for what you will experience during the dry season, and is different for what you will experience during the rainy season.
Next question: is this skill future proof, and how is it evolving in today's economy?
You rarely see a setup like this, isn't it?
Yeah.
This drip irrigation system has been in existence more than 40 years ago. Our population is growing. It is not just we that are feeding now. We are competing with animals. Your chicken feed, isn't it? Your goats, your cow, every aspect of life. We study agri-science here. Why is he studying in the university? Though agri is more than just eating. It is something that, as long as human exists, it is something that we keep needing. and we need to evolve for us to meet our demands.
Okay. What additional courses or related skills can complement this one?
This setup, you have it in the curriculum of agric engineering. I mentioned Internet of Things.
Yes.
Internet of Things is computer science, is information technology. Talking about agribusiness now, you must have good knowledge of marketing and, of course, finance.
How can students continuously improve and stay updated in this field?
There are journals, there are online publications, there are institutions everywhere. So informations are everywhere for anyone that is interested. I learned this agric cultivating method on my phone through a Philippine platform.
Wow.
I learned it without going for any physical class, any field work, and I'm able to practicalize it.
That's mind blowing.
That's why I started my message with will. Number one thing is will. The will to do something. If you have the will, then nothing is stopping you.
Okay. Next question. What final advice would you give undergraduate students about learning and monetizing this skill?
This is a skill that there's no how you want to practice it that you don't make money. I tell my students, just have 10 plants, 10 stands of pepper or tomato or ugu. It will be more than what you alone can feed on. Just find pots, these grow pots, set it up, be watering it. When you start harvesting, you alone, you will sell from it. Even if you are a family, that 10 will be more than what you will eat. If you don't want to monetize it, you will gift it out.
Wow. Thanks so much for those awesome feedback. It has been quite an educative session. And our final question, sir, would like to know, what should students do immediately after completing your training to start earning?
What I advise, I'm an advocate of collaboration. If you come together, you share your risk. For instance, if you and 4 other persons decide to invest in 100,000 naira project, definitely you won't drop 100,000 naira. You will end up dropping how much? 20,000 naira for 4 people added to you, making 5. If that project fails, it will be different from you dropping 100,000 naira. They say if you go alone, you go fast. If you go together, you go far. If what you have at the back of your mind is that you want to succeed, you may find it hard to reach a conclusion, to agree. But at the end of the day, when you ended up agreeing, you agree for the best possible thing. They say 2 good eggs are better than 1, isn't it? So what I'm trying to say is that if it will be easier for more than 1, 2, 3 persons to come together and set up something, especially because of the bottleneck, which is money. And even in the management, you may decide to be alternating it. You go today, somebody go tomorrow. It won't be too stressful on you alone. Leveraging. If you leverage has the skill or has that zeal to visit the farm more often, whereas you have the money, you know, you've dropped the money, you will do more of the work.
Awesome. I need not to ask if you enjoyed this interview. I surely did so much, Mr. Salaudin. Thank you once again for honoring our invitation. It's such a great delight drinking from your well of knowledge. And this brings us to the end of our interview. Thank you once again,
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Salaudin.
These are 3 weeks old. Both they were planted on the same day. We needed to apply insecticide. This one and this one were planted the same day. See, this is like in like 2 weeks time now. They'll be flowering. Let's go down here.
Okay. All this
Look at it. Watermelon.
okay, watermelon.